All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Up and In Show. We're on the purple couch at our downtown location. I got one of my boys with me here, Keith Hornsby, former LSU basketball legend, professional basketball player for, coming up, you got to be a veteran now. I mean, almost 10 years, right?
I'm a vet, man. I'm a vet. Not 10, 8.
But coming up, almost a decade of playing professional basketball.
Well, almost there, yeah.
That's dope, man. But thank you very much for being here. I know, your season probably just ended, right? Like, are you?
Pretty much, yeah. About a month ago. So, yeah, I'm back in Baton Rouge, baby.
I love it. Well, thank you for joining me. Like I said, I introduced you quickly here. But why don't you give our listeners a little bit who you are, where you're from, quick intro, minute, 2 minutes, and then we'll dive in.
No problem. Well, I'm Keith Hornsby, LSU alum, 2016. But I'm not from Louisiana, like a lot of Tigers that we know.
I'm not either.
I know. You Jersey, right?
Jersey. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm from Virginia, East Coast as well.
Nice.
I started my career at a smaller school, UNC Asheville, in the Big South, and made my way to you could say the big time, LSU, after my sophomore year, and then did well there, and it's been a crazy journey since then. It's hard to be concise about it, but I mean, just finished my 8th professional season, and back sort of where it all became a possible reality for me here in Baton Rouge. So it's good to be back.
I love it. What part of Virginia?
Williamsburg.
Okay, Williamsburg.
You probably went on some field trips.
I was just going to say,
historical mecca of the East Coast, Colonial
absolutely.
Williamsburg and all that. Yeah, I can proudly say that my town, Williamsburg, was once the capital of the U.S.
That's right.
Now, it might have been a few colonies, but still
a
little bit different. But that's what it's known for sure.
That's badass. Yeah, I think I did. And then I want to say, I'm trying to think of who. I think I played some minor league ball. Are there minor league fields right around you? Do you know by any chance?
The Norfolk Tides. It's AAA for the Orioles. I know Kevin Gosman actually played for them briefly. Yeah, but yes,
I played against the Norfolk Tides there. And played a couple like high A games, and there was a couple other Virginia ones too.
Richmond has a big one too.
Okay, I played.
I don't know
too,
their affiliate.
Yeah, that was AA for the Giants when I was playing. It always switches. Like they switch.
It was AA. Yeah. Richmond Braves is what they were.
Okay,
but
when I was there, it was the Richmond Flying Squirrels.
And that's I think that's what it still is.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, literally Richmond Flying Squirrels. The minor league names are out of control now. They're so out of pocket. Yeah.
Just trying to figure out something,
Trying to get some attention.
I feel it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And your family is pretty unique. Your pops is a singer, right? Musician. Is that how you would say it?
I would say that. I think he would appreciate you calling me that. Yeah, calling him that. Yes, he is a musician, and he still is. But yes, he's to the general populace, he's known for his #1 hit, "The Way It Is," which was continued to, attain relevancy through Tupac's "Changes," which we all know, Yes. And but he's had a multifaceted career. He's done so many things. We could do a whole podcast on that specifically. I'll just say he is a musician.
Yes, that is.
I'll make that. I'll confirm that.
Badass resume. Good
musician.
Yeah,
yes. He's still playing, and he's still very, very active. He's almost 70, but he's not slowing down.
Yeah.
He's not slowing down.
That's a career. Luckily, he doesn't have to use his body like us when we were playing, so that's good. I mean, technically he does, but it's not crazy physical. Yeah.
Just the fingers. He's got some wear and tear on them, but but it's not like the knees or something for a basketball player.
Not as
the elbows or the for a pitcher,
shoulder, everything, all of it's impossible. Yeah. But did he play sports growing up too? Was he is that in his background, or was he always music?
No, he's a big basketball guy.
Really? Yeah.
Big basketball guy. He he never pushed me, and I have a twin brother, Russell, who ran track at Oregon. Actually, he was
you guys are identical.
Speed demon.
Yeah.
Yes, it would take you about 1 minute to tell us apart, but give or take, if you saw us out in the street there, you'd be like, they're twins. But
you can tell you apart in pictures easily.
No doubt about it.
But at least it's crazy how the twin stuff is crazy wild.
But I'm older.
You are?
1 minute. One minute to establish dominance for life.
That's it. Forever. You reminded
1
me
minute to prosper, you know. But anyways, my dad was a big basketball guy. He could have played college back out of high school, more like a D2 guy.
Okay.
He was like one of those old school 6'4", jack of all trades type player.
Nice.
Could play maybe 1 through 5.
That's sick.
But
so he could shoot it too?
He could. And he never pushed us to get into music because, well, I mean, you know, he allowed, like a lot of parents to. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't like that back then, but like he allowed us to forge our own path.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But he's like, if you do become interested in music, I can give you the keys to the kingdom.
Yes, I will. Guide
give you the keys.
Yes.
I will guide you, but only if you want.
Yeah,
only because this, you know, obviously just like sports, you know, it takes a major commitment to attain any level of success. You know, you have to commit to it. So
absolutely. That's cool.
You know, but he's a big basketball guy, and he's enjoyed every part of my career. Just following and further, you know, increasing his knowledge of the whole business and game too.
Yeah,
so.
That's cool. Was your brother hoop too?
Yeah, he did, but he
was just good at running up and down the court.
he could have been okay, but he was I don't want to say he might see this. I don't know if he had the same hand-eye coordination as I did. Maybe if he honed it a little bit more, but track became his thing from an early age. So he just had to focus on one thing: speed.
Speed. It was gonna be fast.
Speed. It's gonna be fast, and fast he was. I mean, but he played a little bit of basketball. I don't know. I'm not gonna say he was sorry. He was trash. But he never got to the point where you could really analyze him enough. He didn't play in high school or anything, but by that point he was focused on track and for the right reasons. I mean, he was All-American, the 800, and ran at Oregon. I mean,
that's pretty storied, like, for track and field, right? I mean, that's that's where, isn't that where Prefontaine went and broke? That's badass.
It's one place where track is really loved and embraced.
Yeah, absolutely.
LSU's not bad too. He actually almost went to LSU.
Really?
That was his second choice.
Really?
Before I had any idea that I could possibly come here. He took a visit out of high school.
No way. That's
yeah.
Did he think about transferring when you transferred?
No, he loved Oregon. He loved Oregon. And, you compare, although I think it's better now with LSU track, but I mean, you go to Oregon, you just can feel it. Yeah. The history.
Absolutely.
And Hayward Field is legendary out there. Yeah. And it was a dream come true for him. I understood it completely. Yeah. But he loved LSU. He loved visiting. Yeah,
that's pretty. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, he just got to come get the highlight reel with hanging out with you and everything too.
No, and that he did for sure. that he did.
That's awesome. But that must have been pretty sick. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, that's literally where Nike was created, and it was from running and everything. Yeah. So I didn't even think about that aspect too. Like, I mean, I always knew the Prefontaine, and so that's badass. Good for him.
You talk about gear.
Yeah, I would imagine he probably.
And we get some gear here at LSU. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but out there, it's a different level.
Yeah, I can't imagine. That's badass. Any other siblings growing up?
Just us.
Just you two.
I mean, two identical twins. That's all most people can handle.
I was just gonna say, whenever your parents are trying to have one and there's two in there in the mix for the first ones, that's tough. I feel like that's hard.
But it was perfect. I mean, we were a handful enough. We were little rascals just running around, probably driving people crazy. Yeah. But feeding off each other's mischief. But it was good. Awesome. My mom always said, I wanted boys, and she got them.
She got two boys.
She got them.
Yeah, all in one shot. That's great.
No doubt.
That's awesome. So when did you start realizing, you said you weren't good enough to play at LSU? I find, I mean, obviously there's levels to recruiting and stuff like that. But when did you start realizing that this was a dream that you could play maybe the next level, D1, maybe professional?
Well, first of all, if you want to, I don't even have to explain this. I'll have you Google at some point how I looked when I was coming out of high school.
Okay, we're gonna have to cut that in. Yeah,
and you can. And then Google how I looked maybe as a freshman at UNC Asheville, and you look at this guy and you be like, this is an SEC athlete. Like, is this an SEC athlete? You're gonna say no, man. I was a late bloomer.
The height and thick everything.
The height I got. I tried to compensate with some tattoos.
I feel you. Trust me.
I tried to compensate, my baby face, but I committed to lifting because I just knew I needed all the help I could get. But I was exactly where I was at, where I needed to be.
Gotcha.
And the timing was fine. But I didn't go into UNC Asheville, which was a good program for sure, and still is for like a lower D1. With like today is just the landscape is different. I didn't go in thinking, okay, I'm gonna go here 1 or 2 years, do my thing, and then go. It just happened to work out.
It is now.
It's just entirely different. I can't talk too much shit on the portal and all that because I did transfer, of course. But you know, it is different.
It's different, yeah.
And because of this, I never had what I thought the privilege to think too far in advance. Like I didn't think like, okay, I'm going to be a pro. Nothing was solidified at all. I'm not one of these big prospects, these guys who, it's just kind of assumed that they're going to be able to do this. When I went to SEC, there's a lot of people that were to LSU. A lot of people were like, "Oh, well, what a stupid move! He's leaving a place where he's playing all the time to go somewhere and probably sit, where they're going to try to replace him every year with McDonald's All-Americans and stuff." So I heard all this. It fueled me for sure.
Yeah,
I was like, to hell with that shit. I'll show you.
Absolutely, let's go.
I'm like, yeah, come.
And Will Wade was recruiting you? Or
it was Johnny Jones.
Oh, it was
Johnny Jones.
Okay,
yeah, there's been a few changes since.
Yeah.
But
I was trying to think of the time frame.
So when I got to LSU, it's like my mission was to prove I can do well here. And then, once I ended up doing well here at LSU, it's like, okay, what the next level is a new challenge, and yes, it was. Boy, that was a rude awakening too. And then after that, it's just endless obstacles. I could never look too far in advance, but it also provided me, motivation to continue working consistently, and that was never a problem for me. I had a sit-out year when I came to LSU. That was big.
So you had to sit, yeah.
Oh, I got thrown on that high major weight program, tacked on probably too much mass. I would have been walking into F45 just jacked, just jacked. I was probably too heavy for and I look back at pictures, I'm like, dang, man, I was like, I could have shed a few pounds and maybe been a little bit lighter. But then again, SEC is a physical conference for basketball, and I was just making sure I'm not going to be pushed around. Yeah. And
that's cool. Yeah.
I wasn't, but still, like
you could be. So what's your playing weight now compared to what it was at LSU? Is it pretty different?
A little bit, maybe about 10 pounds. Okay. I was about 210 solid.
Okay.
I came in, I swear, about 180.
Really?
Yeah, 180. And then gradually, because also the sit-out year, you're not doing that much. You're not playing games. Once season starts, you're not really involved in practice.
Yeah.
So I was lifting.
Most of the time.
Getting jacked.
Absolutely, yeah.
And, but now I realize, you live and you learn.
Yeah.
You start working smarter, not harder, and realize – you start to realize what your perfect weight is as you go. And around 200 is great for me. Strong enough to battle guys bigger than me, but light enough to keep my maneuverability. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You still jumped well though when you were at LSU. You would throw down, right? Do you still does that affect your jumping at all? And how high you jump and things like that? Weight? I know that might sound like a dumb question.
Maybe.
Does it? Because I remember, so when I was in high school, I balled in New Jersey. And again.
Not surprising.
Hey, ball is good in Jersey.
For sure. Yeah. No doubt.
And so, but my junior, my sophomore year, I was a starter on varsity. Freshman, I was on the team. But then sophomore, junior year, I was starter, one of the main players. But I was kind of chunkier. I was 230, hadn't worked out yet. You know what I'm saying? Just that baby fat, a little bit.
Basketball shape's different than baseball anyways. But.
And then by my senior year, I lost 20 pounds. And so I was 210, a little slimmer, started working out. And all of a sudden, my junior year, I had 2 dunks. I dunked twice. My senior year, probably 40 dunks, something like that. And so it was just damn, do I jump higher? Am I stronger? I don't know. And so that's why I was just asking, how much does that play a role in how you jump? And
it's probably a little bit of that, but also as you get older, your muscles just mature.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the shedding of the weight certainly helps. It didn't hurt.
Yeah,
it didn't
exactly.
Hurt.
Yeah.
Now I can't stand up now, but I have to reveal that I have bow legs, very much so.
Yeah.
And they act somewhat as springs.
Yeah.
In a way, 2 foot. I would fly when I was at LSU. That was probably one of the peaks of my
Bro,
bounce.
you used to fucking fire me up. You would throw down. It was fucking awesome. I'm serious. And like you don't expect it that much.
No.
And for you to, I'd be like, dude, that boy is nice. Not gonna just shoot threes. Watch. Yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't pass the look test of a dunker.
Of a dunker, right?
I would look at me and be like, he's probably pretty grounded.
Yeah. He can shoot some threes. Yeah.
But
the bow-legged, like you said, gives you springs. I mean, look at if you look at DBs, you look at a lot of speed athletes and explosive athletes. Like that is a telltale sign that you're going to be able to jump, move, and like be pretty quick too.
I'd say it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Because with that comes a lot of deficiencies that you have to deal with. It's just unnatural.
Yeah.
But at LSU, I was throwing off the backboard, cocking it back, sometimes with no stretch. Taking and nowadays, let me just say, it ain't the same. The mileage and worn my knees down. And
absolutely.
I think last year I had 2 dunks. 2 dunks. But you know what? Yeah, and one. No, they were both on a break.
Yeah.
No, nothing spectacular.
Nothing in traffic.
Nothing worth looking up. And, probably a little rim grazer with 2 hands. You
probably have like a routine to warm up now, like all that kind of stuff. Like,
all that maintenance is mandatory for me now. But I'm built like I'm just a stiff white dude, man. When it comes down to it, I was never built for longevity. I had all this tendonitis and little issues from even when I was at LSU, it was starting to happen.
Really?
So yeah, I've had to learn to truly maintain and do certain things. Like I have to really go through a thorough warm up before I do anything now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a pain, to be honest.
Absolutely.
It tests your patience. But
that's a big reason why I retired at 29. I was like, bro, I'm sick of this. Like, it took me 45 minutes just to feel like I could go throw a baseball, And I was like, I kind of want to go do other shit. Yeah.
That's something though, really. That's
and you do that every day.
I think I'm a 30-minute guy. Luckily, when you're in season, you're helped with the team warm ups. You're not just on your own. Like in summers and stuff, that's when it tests you. Yeah. It's different. It's different for sure.
Yeah.
But that's just part of it. I've been lucky to be pretty much injury free for most of my career.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about that. Like, once you said, you alluded to you being bow-legged. So what are some things that like you learned along the way to be like, because of that, I have to do this? Like, have you figured out certain things that be the deficiencies that you talked about?
I've had bad quadricep tendonitis. It's right on top of the knee. So I have to focus on activating the glutes.
Absolutely.
Shall I say. I got to activate the glutes.
Big thing, yeah. Absolutely.
Got to.
I had groin issues, so I always had to do all these like glute activation bullshit. Yeah, absolutely.
That's another thing. Groin is another thing that bow-legged people in basketball suffer with, because all the pressures on the outside, the IT bands.
Makes sense, yeah.
Which is how your legs are. So the inside, the adductors are
a little weaker.
Yeah, they're weaker. They're just, you have to focus on them more. They're a little more dormant, shall I say.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had multiple groin issues. Never too bad, just little pulls. Actually, I had one this past year, but I'm so used to dealing with that now. I know exactly what I have to do.
Exactly.
But the other thing is, I'm my own worst enemy. When they heal, I get away from those exercise, and then
absolutely.
It's like a cycle, and you get reminded back. But there's a bunch of things I have to do. Another thing with bow legs is your feet. Your legs angle down and go into your ankle at kind of an odd. It's unnatural.
Yeah.
So my Achilles are super tight. I also have flat feet. So I'll tell you, man, I'm not built for this for sure. So I have customized orthotics.
Okay.
That have saved my career for sure.
Okay.
Oh yeah, now I can't do anything without them, or I don't want to, because my knees are gonna start to act up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Feel like I'm talking like a 60-year-old man, but like, man,
you play a game where you run on hardwood every single day. So I mean, it's like that's kind of to be expected, and that's what one of the things I love about my podcast is. People turn the TVs on, they look on social media, they see you doing certain things, and they're just, that's easy for him. No. Like, there's a lot that goes into this shit, man. And there's a lot of sacrifice and pain and shit. Yeah, absolutely.
It's it's not for the faint of heart for sure. It's a grind. But and the European season, can be 9.5 months. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous.
That is wild.
It's crazy. It's too long.
Yeah.
Many times my first preseason game would be in August, and then this year was actually earlier, but my last game would be beginning of June. And then so you're practicing in mid-August.
That's like a baseball season, dog. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. If you make it all the way to the end, from the spring training to the World Series.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
And it's still longer than that for sure, because that's end of October and that's the beginning of mid-February. So
February to October. Yeah.
It's and I'd known about this before, but once you go through it, then you really get the feeling.
Yeah. Well, talk to me. So, all right. So you come to LSU. You played with Ben Simmons too, right? So that was probably an experience.
That's my guy.
Yeah, that's your boy. I remember that. I remember seeing you guys at City Bar. Well, I don't know if you can say, but that was after that. That was after you guys were here.
It happened. Yeah. Well, hey, what are you gonna do? It's right down the street.
I know. But yeah, no. So Ben was your boy. What was it like? I mean, seeing his experience, because that probably, as a friend too, he went through a lot of scrutiny and shit.
You mean as of the last few years?
Yeah, well, I mean,
or when he was at LSU,
here, there was just so much. I felt bad for the kid. You know what I'm saying? He's an 18-year-old kid, and there was so much expectations. Like he was going to save this program and do so many things, and then just normal stuff happens that I feel like probably got blown out of proportion and shit too.
You can put that on LSU actually to start off with. They had in June this time. They had billboards, with his jersey on. 25 is coming.
Yeah, it's like, dude, what the hell?
And I get the excitement. It was rare for LSU to get a recruit like that before that in basketball.
Yeah.
So that it was
really
I was with him on his visits. And stuff.
Yeah.
I'd known him since my junior year. No, actually maybe before that. He had been recruited by LSU for a while. Yeah. But I knew him before. He's a good guy. He's Australian, comes from a good family. He's he likes to have fun. Yeah, put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Likes to have fun. He enjoyed his college experience.
As he
enjoyed it, as he should have.
Yeah.
A common misconception is that he did not enjoy his time at LSU. No, he loved it. He enjoyed it. He enjoyed it.
That's good.
Yeah, for sure. But everything was fantastic before the season started.
I love that.
We're walking around. Yeah, we got in our heads probably. We're thinking we're way better than we end up being. And then we're going on campus and stuff. It's Final Four this year. Here we this national champion. Let's bring it home. And how quickly those same people turned on us when we started losing a little bit. Yeah. And I'm gonna be honest. I had injuries that year. I missed the first month and then the last month of the season. And I was big for this. I was a fifth-year senior by this point. I wish I'd done a better job being a leader in that locker room, but at the same time, it was you got to remember at this. I was also still a little bit that guy who was kind of happy to be here, who was a low major prospect, and now I got guys like Ben coming in, and now I'm supposed to tell him, what to do, and McDonald's All-American guys. In a weird way, in my mind, I'm like, man, I can't believe I'm actually on the floor with these guys still, because came from such a different background than them. But that to go back to Ben. He did a pretty good job. Now he had media training. He had his family living around them, and I was big for him too, actually, because I could disconnect him from that crazy media focus, where the spotlight was on him. We would win a game, but if he'd have a bad game, they'd be ragging on him.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I felt bad for the fucking kid. It was just like there was so much. Literally bullshit, just around him,
Nowadays, I think it was a little premature for nowadays. I think they're used to dealing with certain prospects. Mm-hmm. It's just a little more saturated now, or something. I don't know. It's just. Then he's they touted him as the next LeBron.
I know.
And he'd had a great freshman season, like stat-wise.
Absolutely.
Averaged 19 a game, almost a triple-double. I mean, good
and
grief.
if you know basketball, you watch the game, like, and again, I don't know X's and O's like you guys do, but like I know the game enough and played it enough to know, damn, when this dude gets on a bigger court with more space and he gets the freedom to take a rebound and go create offense, it's going to be a lot different than him standing at the fucking foul line with his back to the basket, running the offense through him that way. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know whose doing that was. And again, that's, a long time ago, but you could, as a basketball fan, you're like, God, I just wish he could just fucking go do what he wants to do with the ball type thing,
Yeah, it was always understood the NBA game was more suited to him, despite the fact he, can't really shoot.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
He
shot a little bit.
You're not breaking any news there,
Oh, you guys didn't know? Okay, well,
I mean, it is what it is. Like, I wish he would. Yeah, but he's not a bad shooter. You see him in practice and stuff, and he shoots. When he shoots,
it's a mental thing.
Absolutely.
It's a mental thing. His saying about all that would be, well, which I liked. He's like, why would I shoot if I could just pass to someone who's a better shooter? And he shoots, and I'm like, as a shooter, I'm like, yeah. He's the best passer I've played with. I think.
Yeah.
I played with some pretty good guys, overseas or just in general, and he's done some things that you just don't see, like some, say God-given talents.
Yeah.
And,
being 6'10" and being able to put the ball on the floor the way he does and be able to attract, opens up a lot of room, and then be able to find guys at the right time too.
Him in transition is almost unstoppable.
Yeah.
And that's why he becomes an all-star, in the NBA for these base skills alone. No, don't get me wrong. He never worked on his game. He's a
He's just literally that.
He's a naturally gifted guy. He's and it's fine now. But like he'd be the type. And we had another Australian teammate, one of my good friends, Darcy Malone.
Oh yeah,
big 7
I
foot.
remember Darcy. Yeah.
Now they would sometimes, go out and it's fine to say this now. It's been years removed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But get back super late, and I couldn't believe this because we'd have like 6 a.m. weights the next morning, or even on the track. I'm like, y'all are wild, man. Y'all gonna be struggling out there, scuffling, as I say. Now we get out on the track, and Darcy, would be out there just suffering, and end up throwing up and stuff. Yeah. And Ben would be fine, like just no sweat, and it's like 2 different species, basically. Like two different genetic makeups, just built different.
Absolutely, that's so fucking funny.
And but then once he gets with it, that's why the whole shooting thing's odd because I know he has some of the best people in the world working with him on that, and then it's just mental. But I hope the best for him. Love the guy, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. He's still got some time, so I mean, he's got plenty of time to still turn it around. And like I said, when he's on the floor and he's healthy and stuff too, he's one of the best out there with the ball in his hand. So, especially as an LSU fan, I want to see him turn it around. I've been a huge Ben fan, and I've always just enjoyed watching him play. So I hope he does. Yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah. So talk to me about how I always appreciate. You kind of alluded to being a little bit of the underdog, like, damn, am I supposed to be here type thing. When did you start realizing at LSU, damn, like I might be able to play at this next level? Was it coaching that kind of talked to you, or you just start realizing, damn, like I'm playing with the boys out here and holding my own and doing my thing?
It was, I would say it was my sit-out year. I first got the thought that maybe it was possible because in practice I was killing. Yeah. I was playing you remember Marshall Henderson from Ole Miss? Yeah. Legend. Yeah. I would be playing guys like that in scout and just killing. Yeah. Just throwing the ball up and going in. And I was having some amazing – I made an impact immediately. So my goal that year was to have Johnny Jones look down the bench and see me in street clothes and wish he could put me in the game. So that was an idea. Now, to the thought of going pro, it really didn't become a reality till the following season when I was one of the better scorers in the SEC. Yeah. And it was throughout that season that changed my life, that season, that junior year. Because I didn't start out too well. I was nervous. Like shooting everything at LSU was bigger and more amplified than I'd ever experienced. Yeah. And then, I'll never forget the first game. It wasn't even a big game against a small Gardner-Webb University. But we're in the PMAC, the lights,
absolutely everything.
Well, pretty good crowd. But just everything. I just remember this feeling of nerves, and once I conquered that and became comfortable, then I'm like, okay, I'm a good college basketball player. We'll see what I can do. And of course, your mind goes like, oh, NBA league. You know? Boy, did I learn. Boy, did I learn. But you know, I'm not gonna say young and dumb. Just young and uneducated
Confident.
on it.
Confident. Yeah.
On just how the next step could possibly happen. But it was at that point. And another point was like, weirdly, this might sound odd, but this had an effect on me. When I was a white, pretty good player in the SEC.
Yeah.
On the road, I got crushed. I got eviscerated by.
Really?
Oh yeah, the opposing fans would just destroy me. You know? Oh yeah.
For being a white boy, like.
Well, I think that sure.
Yeah.
I look like that I'm someone seem more relatable to them, and like it happens, to all the guys.
Absolutely.
And it was I love that, first of all.
Gave you a little edge.
Little did they know it would like further motivate me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, it was like, okay, if I'm at this point where I'm getting this type of hate, like, well, maybe I've done something
enough to make people know who I am. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I'm at South Carolina, and their fans are right on top of you. I'm coming out of layup lines, and they're just, and of course they use my dad. They're like, Keith, and I'm like, look at them, like, your dad sucks. Yeah, I don't know why.
Like, you got me. Yeah.
I don't know why it sounded so country saying that your dad sucks.
South Carolina, because they do.
They
got a heavy accent in South Carolina.
Oh yeah, it'd be all types of stuff. They even some people, I saw like pictures of Heidi, my wife who I was with. Even then, I couldn't read the signs. They'd be like looking out there. But of course, if you look at these people, they just
I got you. I'm in your head.
Yeah, but. That was another time when I was, you could say, I know it might not seem normal, but yeah.
You kind of made it. Yeah, you had a chance to be like, okay, I'm making enough of a splash to be like,
yes.
I'm the guy they're targeting. Yeah.
And I would have to, finish strong my senior year, which despite the injury, I still had a good senior year.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was a pleasure watching you, man. And, you take a little pride in that, being the white boy out there hanging with the boys and dunking and shit like that. Like, but that's the thing is like, it's the unexpected more, you know what I'm saying? Like the prototypical dunkers are a little taller, like, you know what I'm saying? And that kind of stuff. And I mean, let's be honest, white boys have a reputation for shooting threes and staying outside the arc, a little bit more. So for you to go in there and bang and do that kind of stuff would fire me up in the stands. I'd be like, let's go. That guy fucking, like, it was just fun to watch.
You don't see it every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
It's just more the unexpected. Yeah.
It's a funny, the fact that I for some reason I share your thought about that, and it's a running joke with me and my dad, because I would like work out with him. He in a unofficial way was kind of a solid coach for me growing up.
Yeah.
But we'd be in the gym like in summers, and at the point then I'm really dunking. Someone would walk in the gym that looks kind of like a player, and they don't know who I am, and they look at me, and I'd like abandon whatever drill I'm doing, like go and like just hammer one.
Like, you gotta know,
just so he knows that I can do it.
Exactly. That's so fucking funny.
And it became a joke, because like my dad would look and like, okay, just do it.
Go ahead, go do your thing.
And I'd be so amped. I'm like, okay.
That's fucking funny.
That's something about, because I know they'd look at me and then I was proud of my ability to do it.
Yeah.
And
let's be honest, there are I know we want to toe around. There's stereotypes out there, right? All kinds of them. So
rightfully so.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Like, let's be honest,
so.
most of the guys that are white guys in college basketball stroke a three, and that's kind of what you get known for, right? So for you to be able to
white
do
affliction,
that,
somewhat, not really affliction. It's just an earned stereotype, because that's lots of times that's kind of your typecast as that, but because very frequently that's the role most of these guys have.
Absolutely, yeah. But that's funny, man. Yeah, no, I used to enjoy watching you play a lot. Came from Jersey, so loved basketball, played it my whole life. And honestly, when I first got recruited here, it was like I got recruited in the fall of 07, so it was right after the 06 team went to the final. It was 06 I went to the final.
Yeah.
05, 06 when Big Baby and Tyrus Thomas, so they were all here. And I remember on my visit staying at a hotel, and there was like this big 7-foot dude that was getting recruited. Met him, he wound up coming on campus. So it was like I always felt tied to the basketball team. So I always came and watched, and even after I was done playing, loved coming to the games, loved going to the games still to this day. So
That's cool.
It was always a pleasure watching you play, man.
Yeah, Jersey's basketball haven for sure.
Let's go.
Where are you from in Jersey?
I grew up down by the shore, so like central Jersey, but my whole family's from North Jersey. So
okay.
But yeah, down by the shore, pretty much like where I grew up. But yeah, I always tell people, I'm like, basketball's for real, and I had 1,500 points in high school, which is not bad.
That's no joke. That really
800,
is.
800 rebounds. I did my thing.
You get
for a little
recruited
bit.
by anybody?
I did. I had
with
some
size.
Yeah, but it was more like, honestly, I would have had to been. I would have been way undersized for the way that I played because I played more back to the basket. My coach when I
high
first,
school is typical.
Yeah, exactly. And so I wish, so my sophomore, junior year, we wound up getting this freshman that was 6'9", so he became our center. So I got to go out a little bit more, but by then my game was still more back to the basket, that kind of stuff. And so I got some small, like my best offer was like Monmouth, down by
D1.
Yeah, no,
it's not easy to get D1 at any level. I mean, I appreciate it.
Well,
I mean, seriously, I struggle getting D1 in general.
Yeah.
So I have seen both sides. So
I'm also honest. I'm also real with myself. Most of my offers were D2, and Monmouth wanted me because the baseball coach was trying to get me to go play baseball there. So
that's a pretty critical detail to leave out, though, man. That's pretty good. Okay.
That's why I say it first, but then I got to come back and be real and be honest.
Yeah, you picked the right sport, clearly.
I was better at baseball. I knew I had more of a chance. My dad looked at me and was like, "Hey, dude, this is a numbers game." He was like, "Let's look at the roster and look how many baseball players there are and look how many basketball players there are." He's like, "I know you love basketball and you do your thing and have fun during the winter, but he's like, you're a baseball player. Let's if you want to play professional, he's like, you could probably do the baseball thing." That's what I was like, all right, that makes sense. So it's a numbers thing. That's
fair enough.
Yeah,
because it can be.
Yeah, but that's where I mean, for you to be able to make it, dude, and to play at such a high level, and I know you kind of hard on yourself and being like it was a rude awakening, but I mean, to get a free agent deal out of school and you signed with the Dallas Mavericks, right, and got to go to camp with them. Talk to me what that dream was like, because I mean, again, not being drafted, who cares? It doesn't matter. You got to play at the next level, and you've done this thing for a long time. So, what was that like, becoming a professional and having that opportunity to play in the NBA?
It was absolutely amazing. It was a dream come true. I mean, I was sharing a locker room with Dirk Nowitzki. It was coming in every day, and just being in the NBA environment. It really is, and he's a great guy. But then again, it was surreal because now it's real.
Yeah.
I'm in practice with these guys. It's serious.
Yeah.
I'm a fan, but then I'm also playing on his team and shooting competitions and playing 5-on-5. Everything. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Amazing. Also made me a little bit delusional to the reality of the G League, the D League, because my only experience so far was in this NBA level. And I had some great days. I had one preseason game. I had 12 points in the fourth quarter and won the game for the Mavs pretty much.
Damn, that's badass.
Yeah, they gave me the game ball. I still have it. Actually, it's in my house here in Baton Rouge. I'm always going to have that with me.
Yeah, you are, yeah.
It was classic. It was unbelievable. But it's funny to think that I became 10 times better player later and never was at that same level really again.
Really, yeah.
But that's how it goes lots of times. A lot of times the training camps are filled with rookies, guys straight out. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
In the end, it was fantastic. But it's also made me a little delusional for the next step because when I got to the D League, it still was. Things went south pretty quickly.
Did they?
Yes.
So what does that mean for you? So like in the sense of like the way that you played, or the competition was just more than you thought?
The competition for
Really?
sure. I mean,
Okay.
you go from college. I was an old senior. I was 24, but now you're going against some of the best college guys, 28, 29-year-old pros who are just different.
Yep.
Guys who are in Europe who are coming back could make a lot of money in Europe, but are choosing to pursue their NBA dream.
Yeah.
The G League, I'm going to call it G League because it is G League.
It's G League now, yeah.
The G League is the second best league in the world talent-wise.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't ready to play at a high level. Now, it's also situational. I had a loaded team of guards already when I got there.
Gotcha.
And I went from being on this training camp to some games being inactive in the G League.
Really?
Yeah, and so I lost a whole lot of confidence. I had also changed my shot. You probably remember, everyone remembers me at LSU, rightfully so, for having an odd release.
Yeah.
And I get that. It was wild. It was wild.
It went in, so
it did go in. But I knew if I was to shoot an NBA 3 push back with consistency, I needed to change some things. Too much energy and all that,
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
all that wild, taking it back.
Yeah.
My dad joke about. But yeah. we try to keep it light. But yeah, my shot wasn't quite adapted. It wasn't quite comfortable yet. So, I was even tabbed as sort of a non-shooter that first year. I only made 11 threes entire first year in the G League over 40 plus games. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, that was and that year crushed my market overall, because I think I averaged maybe 4 points a game in a stat league where
you need to show out and show that.
Yeah, so I a lot of people say, well, you should have gone to Europe first. And now looking back, if I did, it would have helped me out. But then again, that Mavs 2.5 month experience was, one of the best moments I've ever had. So that's awesome. I won't take that back.
I got you.
Easy to say in retrospect.
Absolutely. Hindsight's always 20/20, right? Yeah, and there's so many things, yeah. So after that, that's got to be one of the, toughest points of your career. How do you pivot into Euroball or have those opportunities?
I tried to go to Europe. I played 3 years in the G League.
Okay.
I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I didn't want to. Every summer I tried to go to Europe, but then I found out Europe doesn't respect the G League because of, the casual pace. Europe's more like college.
Right.
It's a lot of spirit to it. It's a lot of strategy. It's a little bit slower.
Yeah.
The games feel more like college, which I like after being in the G League for a while, just because of the spirit aspect. But every summer I also had as you've been a pro, you've had agents.
That's what I was going to ask.
I had I had too big of an agent.
Gotcha. Okay.
And me underperforming that first year hurt me. There's nothing he could really do for me, and great guy, but just didn't work. So I went back to the G League my second year, and it was like, okay, well, I didn't want to go, but here we go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I did better.
Okay.
I did better. Had a pretty bad injury during the season, but came back, finished really strong.
Nice.
Then had another terribly disappointing summer. Yet again, because I'd never been in Europe. It was like I was digging a little hole for myself.
Gotcha. So was your agent working during all this time, trying to get you, get you deals and shit? And
but the thing is, he's a big guy, big time guy, even overseas. So as I learned, those European teams are just not going to look at me in my current situation. A guy averaging 10 points a game my next year, which was a big step up, but not enough to
get you a job over there. Yeah.
And so then after that incredibly disappointing summer, I couldn't believe I was going back for a third year. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna quit after this next year. I'm done. To hell with this.
Yeah. Damn.
Let me just do this year, have fun, and move on.
Yeah.
It just happened to be my best year. My shot had changed and become comfortable. I led the G League in 3-point percentage. I shot 49% from three.
Shit,
I made almost half my threes that year. That was now not very high volume, but still, I'll take it. That was a criticism I got for it. I only shot maybe almost 3.5 a game, but still, it's not easy.
50% of them.
Yeah.
Who cares?
So still, I made an agency change going into that summer. I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep playing, and it was still so difficult. Even still, because also now I'm getting older.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what I was gonna say.
I'm 27.
Yep, exactly.
I turned 27 that year, and now they're like, well, we can get a younger guy who,
right.
Is the youth is always welcome.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I still didn't do well enough, other than my 3-point shot, to get a certain level. And also in Europe, you can go to Europe if you want. And if it's not at one of the top leagues, you're playing in elementary school gyms, and for $20,000 a year and stuff like that. For that, I had no interest in doing that.
No.
I had some sense of pride. I was only going to take certain things I thought was I was worth taking.
Yeah.
And so it's been a really crazy journey, man. I swear, it's been unbelievable. At the end of that summer, I had this job in Turkey, and it was in the Turkish First Division, which is great.
Yeah.
But the team, I'd have to explain to you how the European leagues work. It's like, picture it, the Turkish league is like Louisiana.
Okay.
And the first league, but we're talking about colleges here in Louisiana.
Yeah.
So everybody's in the same league and play each other. It'd be like a Louisiana league.
Yeah.
But you have LSU as the top team. UL is another top team.
Yeah.
Then the team I was on would be like a Grambling State.
Gotcha.
Like that.
Okay.
So it's like in that league, but it's at
the bottom.
I don't want to throw shade at Grambling State.
Right.
You're probably all right. I'm just saying by reputation.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then you're talking about not getting paid on time. Like, and it was a low.
It was like not professional.
Not professional. Guys are texting me who you always text players before you go somewhere because they'll tell it to you real about somewhere.
Yeah.
The agents aren't going to tell you that.
No. They want their paycheck too.
So I'm texting these guys like, don't go there. They owe me this amount of money. Like, they're corrupt or they won't pay you if you lose. I'm like, what is this? Like, what am? And also, it was in Turkey, in this remote place, like Heidi, my wife. like they keep their players in a hotel.
God.
It's they don't give you a car, which most places do. And my wife was like, just hating on it, and I can't blame her, because this is a commitment. Also, if I go there, probably you can leave if you want, but by contract a whole season, so 9 months.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, there's a great league to get started at. If I do well here, I can move up.
Yeah.
And so I committed to this place, and I sent the contract to my agent, and me and my wife are like in mourning. Like, we're like at home, like drinking wine, like I think she cried and stuff, and and I'm like, okay, we just have to do it,
We're gonna do it.
You can always come back, know. And then the next morning after sending the contract in, I woke up with like 9 missed calls from my current agent. I'm like, what's going on? So I call him, and he's like, okay, I have this new deal for you. And mind you, we've been in 3 months of like summer without me getting hardly anything.
Yeah.
And this all happened within 1 day, which made me wonder, like, well, what have you really been doing?
Yeah,
But the deal came in Poland with this good team. Poland is like a mid-league in Europe, but a great place to start.
Yeah.
And it was a better money deal, not great, but you're gonna get your money on time. Too.
You're gonna get paid.
You're gonna get paid. And I mean, the weather sucks, but like, come on, what are you gonna do? Yeah. And I was like, sign me up.
Yes.
Do this now.
Yeah. So the Turkey deal's done.
The Turkey deal. Yeah. So what I found out, I sent it to my agent, but he never sent it.
Yeah.
So, of course, I got these just visceral texts from this. I had an American agent. He worked with a European guy. Right. This European guy sent me texts like, "You have no idea what you've done. Your career's over with. I'll make sure you never work again."
You're like, are people from Turkey gonna come to my house?
I was like, jeez. Of course, then I go to this Polish place.
Yeah.
I come into Europe with, I'm coming in with a chip on my shoulder. Like, you motherfuckers. Like, don't think I could hang. I'll show you. It still gets me fired up, man. Yeah. I'll show you, and then I took off pretty much.
So what year was that?
2019.
19, yeah. Okay.
Right before COVID.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. So how did COVID affect your career after that? Like, were like your seasons? How'd that affect it?
It ended in March.
It did. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were? How many years were you in Poland?
I was just one.
Just one. So where'd you sign after Poland?
Germany. I made the step up to the Bundesliga there. They call it the basketball. That was a big step up.
Okay.
And a good organization. And I did well immediately in Europe.
Nice.
And was healthy.
And then you just kept climbing different places?
Yeah. Then after the German year, that was a weird year with no fans. The COVID year.
Yeah. So you guys were playing in empty gyms?
Empty gyms.
Oh my God,
it was odd.
Terrible.
It was odd. It's like, you never take for granted fans again.
Yeah.
And it was the place I went had a great fan base. It was kind of a shame I never got to witness that. Oldenburg is a team. But then my wife got pregnant, Heidi. And so then the next move was like, okay, wherever we go is where she's going to have our baby. So this really, there's some pressure here.
Yeah.
Because you also, there's more pressure on the agent because, you're not in control over where you go.
Right.
My dad was funny. I got to bring my dad up. He's, because he's been dealing with agents his whole life. And so he's like, why don't you just text teams yourself and be like, I want to play for you. I'm like, that's not exactly how it works.
Yeah, I wish it was that easy.
I wish it was that
really
easy. I would be texting plenty of teams.
I promise you, I'd be texting everybody. Yeah.
But anyway, a team in Paris. It was a team that Victor Wembanyama played for. The nice. Mets. They called in early July. It was perfect. And we're like, that's where it's got to be. There's American Hospital in Paris. That was a walking distance from where we stayed.
Wow.
Great suburb of Paris, Levallois.
Yeah.
And it was just I played in this big European competition called Euro Cup. Mm-hmm. I played. We had a fantastic team. It was a great step up. I just continued to play well.
Nice.
It was obviously
Victor wasn't on the team at that point.
No, but I played against him many times. He was with another team in France.
Okay.
Yeah. That was, and then my wife. We had our daughter September 28th, and it's called Neuilly-sur-Seine. It's outside of Paris, a little suburb.
Wow. So she was born in Paris.
Born in Paris. Yeah.
That's on September 28th.
September 28th.
That's my sister's birthday. That's a good day. Let's go.
It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Exactly. Good to know.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's really cool. So she was born in. So, dude, what? So you're living in a different country, have to learn how to be a dad and play bat. That is wild.
It was wild, but for my wife, she gets tremendous credit.
She's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, she gets tremendous credit, and I'm actually disappointed with some of her friends, to be honest. And there were friends and other people for not. She's never asked what that was like.
Yeah.
To have a baby in Paris.
Yeah.
By yourself, because the COVID was still around. Her parents could not come in.
Damn, you're right.
And I had to go for a trip. This is a season that started now. So she's by herself in this Parisian hospital. And it's the American Hospital of Paris in name only. There were 2 American doctors in there out of 150. She's having, nurses come in that don't even speak English. Which is, you can't get mad at that. You're in another country, of course. But that doesn't make your job easier as a new mom.
Yeah.
And then after that, now you have to be a mom. And you're just, and you have to go to pharmacies where you don't understand English. You have to, hats off to my wife. She did it.
Yeah.
She did it. It was difficult for her, for sure.
Oh my God. Shout out Heidi. Wow.
Shout out Heidi for sure. This whole time, because she's done it everywhere we've been.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just disappointed because it's such a unique thing that she did, and she rarely gets no one asks about it. I'm just curious to me. It's in general her general existence. I don't know. I'm like,
that's fascinating.
You have raised a child in Paris and then Lithuania this last year, then Spain.
That's what I was gonna ask. So yeah.
But in general, what she's done has been incredible, and it has been difficult for her for sure.
I would imagine,
because it's an isolated life.
Yeah.
You're not guaranteed companionship out there or help. But she's done well. She embraced it, and for me, it was difficult for me too.
Yeah. It's probably hard. Too, just people, I think forget you live a great lifestyle, in the sense of you're playing at one of the highest levels in the world of your sport. But think about the mental side of being away from your newborn and you're helpless, dog. That's crazy. Literally helpless. Your wife's giving birth and you're like, I have to go focus on basketball now. That's really what life's about too, right? And it's I do this for them and I'm not even there. That's crazy.
It was a weird. I felt like I was not even myself at that time. I was just living in this weird sort of fog of I couldn't even process a real reality of what was going on. I'd also been injured that preseason a little bit. It was a 5-week injury, but they rushed me back in 3. It's a typical European thing, just to be honest. Yeah. But maybe in all walks of athletics. But so that was its own pressure because I was not ready to play. Now my God! And this in the French league is a very strong league.
Yeah,
every game is tough, and then that combined with everything at home with little Lila, Oh my gosh, like,
Dude.
it's crazy. It's crazy. It makes you appreciate, now. That's one of the main reasons we wanted to come back here is to, be around family, especially for Heidi.
Absolutely.
To be around friends and family.
The mental
for
side
help.
of that. Absolutely. Oh my God. Your daughter's name's Lila?
Lila, yeah.
Wow, that's
you
awesome.
got it.
That's my dog's name. Yeah, seriously. Delilah. Yeah.
Delilah.
Yeah, I call her Lila for short. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Delilah's a little bit.
That's a beautiful name, though. It's a beautiful name. That's awesome.
What type of dog is it though?
It's French bulldog.
Okay, that's a cute dog.
Yeah, she's a cute little dog.
Some big
No,
Rottweiler.
no, it's not
Lila,
some big nasty no, it's like little. She's usually honestly here with me on the podcast. Yeah, she usually comes. But I had a couple meetings today. So, but yeah, no, she's. If you ever come by the shop, she's hanging out at the shop. So.
Well, I have to bring. I need to bring Lila to meet Lila.
Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah. It's we
he
like
me so stupid. He's like, you just compared my daughter to your dog.
French bulldogs are cute. I think it's an honor.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it sounds like your Lila's a badass. So being born in Paris and already being to multiple countries and growing up. So she's 3 now?
She's almost 3.
Almost
she's
3?
3 in September 28th.
Yeah,
but she,
awesome.
she's had quite the life. She won't remember any of it.
You can like, babe,
we'll have pictures,
actually,
yeah. Like, we were taking you on the streets of Paris, every weekend. Like, what you have no idea what you've witnessed. And then
already,
even in Lithuania was actually an amazing Vilnius, the city we're in, the capital. Amazing city. No one, I signed there and people around here, and I understand. We're like, what's that?
Yeah. Ignorance, I'd be like, I don't know where.
Yeah.
Like it sounds.
Well, much less where it is. Like what is it?
Yeah,
so much less the city, even the country. And it's people in the basketball world knows it because it's known for the basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, her first school was a Lithuanian school.
That is wild.
And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was the best. We had the best memories from that. It was
cool.
so nice. The people were great. And then I made the move to Spain in the middle of the season. I'd never switched teams mid-year.
Really?
It was for the first time. Basketball I wasn't a great fit, and I had my past resume help me out get this Bilbao, which is where I went in the Spanish league, which is the top. That's the top of the top.
Absolutely,
And then she went to, when Lila went there, she went to a little. It's actually in Basque country. I'm not gonna. It's not considered Spain, actually. I have to preface that.
Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't aware of this before I got there. It is Spain, but it's like
its own.
Yeah, it has a very
own identity. I guess.
Interesting history.
Wow, I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, I'd tag Bilbao, Spain, and some local residents be like, "Hey, we're Basque country. We're Basque. Like, this is not Spain, but
really
for us it is.
Yeah,
but when you're there, you must respect.
Absolutely.
So she went to a little Basque school.
That's wild.
And Basque is its own language. Yeah.
So it's not Spanish.
They speak Spanish,
okay,
but Basque. They also speak Basque, but very prideful of their old language. Oh, Europe's interesting.
Oh my god.
So
cultured, bro. Like
it's really something.
Yeah.
We don't take that for granted.
Yeah. Do you speak any other languages, or have you learned a little bit of each little bit that you've gone to, or you have translators? How's that work?
That's a good question. Because in Poland, difficult.
I would imagine that doesn't sound.
I came in all motivated. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna commit myself, and we're gonna learn some Polish.
Yeah. Bro, I went to South Korea. I tried. Yeah, no. I was quick. No.
It's in a different way, extremely difficult. Yeah, that's the same thing. I was discouraged almost immediately.
Yeah, me too.
Because once you realize that the words don't read how they look as well, then that's in a different writing as well.
Like, I was like, I have no shot at this.
Yeah. I don't think I wouldn't even attempt. Yeah. But the month I was like, talking to my Polish teammates, trying to learn and stuff. But then I gradually it faded.
Yeah,
I lost motivation. It was just not worth it. You learn the basics. It helps you,
of course,
to learn. Good morning, hello, thank you, please, and all that. At restaurants, little things.
Yep.
Germany, I learned a good bit of German.
Nice.
More than I ever imagined I would.
Yeah.
But then I've since, without practicing, you lose it.
Yeah, quick,
don't use it, you lose it. And then France, I was there for 2 years, so I learned a solid bit of French.
Oh, that's cool.
But, you have to be in a country for everyone says 5 to 6 years of consistent use to really feel comfortable. Spanish, I know by far the best.
Really?
Because I had school.
You've had some background of it.
And I've continued to progress in Spanish. But then I could understand when the Spanish fans were,
what they were saying.
They're crushing me too. They're like,
That's
"Tú eres muy feo."
They called you ugly, dog?
Ugly. You understand?
Oh, trust me, I know a lot of slang in Spanish because the clubhouse, that's what motivated me to learn Spanish. I'm like, these motherfuckers are talking shit behind my back. I'm like, I'm going to learn a lot about this stuff. Yeah.
No, that baseball, well, for sure, is useful. You
learn a lot of slang, like you said, slang, derogatory shit, curses. You learn a lot of words that you're like, what'd you just call? You just call me a bitch? Like, what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Love it. Love all of it.
Absolutely.
France too, a little bit, puto mierda. It's just all a part of the experience. But another problem is English is a common language for basketball. So if you're really trying to learn it when you're at work, at practice, you don't get the real practice because most everybody speaks English, and so. But then also you're not going to be there that long. So what's the real motivation other than if you just personally want to do it?
Right.
And with Spanish, I'm going to continue to learn because I just think it's useful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's that. But Heidi could have used it for a few more Spanish words. She didn't know a damn thing. and in Bilbao, that was the least amount of English that we had in Spain, actually.
Really?
In Basque Country, yes.
Yeah, Basque Country.
It was the least amount. But also, if we were in Paris, that's a huge, mega city, touristic city. If you're out in some smaller city in France, it's going to be the same thing probably. So, but she survived though. She got through it.
Yeah, that's wild. Well, so what's on the horizon now? So you're going back to the Spanish league or Spain?
I'm you can say Spain.
Okay.
It's no problem. I'm gonna do one more season.
Nice.
One more, but I'm not going to do a full season.
Okay.
I've done pretty much five in a row of the long length, the European season, and it's just also, I mean, the main reason is that Heidi and Lila, they're done. Yeah. They're done with it. They've done it. Hats off to the American families who do this for 10 plus years. Every year. It's amazing, but it's not for everybody. My wife has done amazing, but it became too difficult, and it is difficult. So we have our house here. She's around her friends and family. She's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's it.
But I can't do a full season without them.
Right.
It's just not. I just can't do that. Yeah. I don't want to watch my daughter grow through FaceTime.
Absolutely.
It doesn't interest me.
No, thank you.
So, What happens in Europe is they have these injury replacement deals.
Okay.
A guy like me gets hurt for 2 months. They sign me to replace him for those months, and then I come home afterwards. It's kind of like you
kind of know the
solid
deal.
Money.
It's like,
And that's just what I'm going to choose to go with, and
nice.
Just for one season, and then be in Baton Rouge, and I'll figure out what's next. I may be able to join the basketball staff. I had the opportunity this year, but I think it was premature.
Okay.
For me.
Yeah.
Also, by doing this, it grants my family another year in Baton Rouge, where if you do the coaching route, it's unpredictable. You could go somewhere quickly if you do your job well. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
grab you,
and also we might want to try to have another child soon. So
nice.
We want to be for this one.
Stationed.
For this one around. My wife deserves it. From her first one to this one to be around family. That's the goal. But then other than that, I don't really know. But I know at least for this next year.
Yeah.
So these knees gonna have to wake up.
At least for
one more time.
Yeah,
one more time. Yeah. I mean, I'm 32 and a half.
Yeah.
I'll say and a half.
Yeah.
Because in basketball years, that's
that's a lot.
And a guy built like me, it's probably more like 36 to some, but it's a lot of mileage on these flat feet and bow legs. So it's that's what it is. But we're happy to be back in Baton Rouge right now. I'm getting the geography back.
Settling back in, remembering all your places.
Yeah, for sure. And I still have some solid people back here who are
good.
We all know, my wife especially. So That's it, man.
Well, good, man. I'm going to have you come by the shop, bring Lila to meet Lila, come hang out a little bit.
I mean, it's only right now. That's a
absolutely.
guarantee.
Yeah. But thank you for sharing your story, man. This was fascinating. I'm a huge basketball geek. I love basketball, so it was really cool to learn your story a little bit more in depth and understand. And again, I think one of my favorite things about my shows and sitting with people is kind of understanding the depth of journeys and things like that. You know, it's easy to look at a phone and look at Instagram and be like, oh, what a great life they're living. You know, they get to travel and all this. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, like, let's listen to really how it is, you know? So, thank you for sharing a lot of that stuff with us. And I'm excited to continue to follow your journey, whatever it is, man. But, come by the shop. Let's get some food. Let's get some drinks, something. We'll hang out. It'll be cool, man.
Sounds like a plan. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.